Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Natalie Pinker from Sky Sports F1 HD. Very pleased to be with you here today. To the world's media, our lucky competition winners and our partner guests, including our title partner Vodafone, welcome to the McLaren Technology Centre. And if you're one of the hundreds of thousands logging on McLaren.com or watching on Facebook or YouTube, we're delighted that you're joining us. On Twitter, we're trending with McLaren MP4-28 hashtag, so please do join in the conversation. We're here to launch this year's Vodafone McLaren Mercedes Formula One car, the MP4-28. It's the car that Jenson Button and Sergio Perez will race and hopefully win with this year. We'll see that in a little while, but before we do, we want to do something else. On the 2nd of September 1963, Bruce McLaren Motor Racing Limited was founded. So, on September the 2nd this year, McLaren will be 50 years old. Today is the first opportunity we've taken to mark that occasion, and in a moment we'll see the car with which we'll campaign the 2013 FIA Formula One World Championship. It's the physical culmination of everything McLaren has designed, built, raced and won with over the last half-century. Everybody here is hugely proud to be part of McLaren. It's a team with an incredible legacy. Now, if you'd like to cast your eyes across the lake, this is something very special. To mark our 50th anniversary, we're rolling back the years to bring our incredible history back to life. This is a ghost from the past, a car with which we've tasted both triumph and tragedy. This is the M8D Can-Am car, one of our dominant North American sports cars. Our 43 Can-Am victories really paved the way for McLaren's growth and huge success throughout the 1970s. And it will also be remembered as in the car which Bruce McLaren tragically lost his life. It's also very loud. Next up is a car that's synonymous with the 1970s as flared trousers, glam rock, chopper bikes and the three-day week. The McLaren M23. It's an iconic Formula One car. It won 16 Grand Prix, raced for 6 seasons and won us 2 World Championships. The team's first with Emerson Fittipaldi in 1974 and in one of the most dramatic seasons ever, the 1976 Championship, which was won by James Hunt. This next car needs no introduction. It's the most dominant, successful and iconic car in Grand Prix history. It's the car that won 15 out of the 16 Grand Prix it contested and saw one of the fiercest and most dramatic rivalries in the history of Formula One. Ayrton Senna and Alain Prost ripped up the history books in 1988 and wrote a remarkable fresh chapter in F1's history. It's the incredible McLaren MP4-4. In North American sports cars, in Formula One and in the Indy 500. And our first attempt at building a road car was just as successful. Despite now being 20 years old, the McLaren F1 is still the fastest naturally aspirated production car in the world. And this, its racing successor, the F1 GTR, added Le Mans to our list of victorious titles when we won the 24-hour race in 1995. engine partnership with Mercedes-Benz began in 1995 and brings us right into the modern era. McLaren Mercedes quickly became the package to beat in the late 1990s as both Mika Hakkinen and David Coulthard dominated the Grand Prix in their distinctive silver arrows. With Mercedes power, we've won 78 races. This is the beautifully effective MP4-28, which won 9 Grand Prix and both World Championships in 1998. Our most recent championship came in 2008 with Lewis Hamilton. That year's MP4-28 was the most aerodynamically complex car we've ever built. Every possible surface was fitted with downforce generating sweeps and flicks to nail it to the track. Complemented by flashes of rocket red Vodafone livery, it's a timeless snapshot of Formula One at its most extreme. Take a look at that grid. These then are the cars that built the very foundation of the McLaren legend. All of them wrote a chapter of motorsport history. They're iconic, beautiful and incredibly fast. Let's have a huge round of applause then for the drivers who brought them back to life today. Rob Bell, Gary Paffett, Alvaro Parenti, Kevin Magnussen and Oliver Turvey. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think you'll agree that was an absolutely spectacular way to start this morning's proceedings. But let's waste no more time and bring ourselves right up to date by welcoming the two drivers who'll be contesting the 2013 season for Vodafone McLaren Mercedes, Sergio Perez and Jenson Button. Sergio's arriving in one of McLaren's automotive 12C Spiders, a car that's been described by the Daily Telegraph as a contender for the best car in the world. And Jenson's driving a development model of our brand new McLaren P1 supercar. This is the very first time the P1 has been seen driven in public. Our aim with the P1 is to create the best driver's car in the world on both the road and the track. Sergio Perez. Beautiful. Okay, chaps, actually, should we stand in front of the car? Got to position you.
Yeah.
How was that for you?
Sorry? I'm sorry.
Okay, if you want to stand over here, gentlemen. So that was some entrance.
Amazing.
Very impressive.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I especially like the paintwork on it. Don't you think that's amazing, guys? Beautiful. The swirling lines. Yes.
Stylish.
Yes.
So how does it feel being back at work?
It feels great. You know, first of all, good morning, everyone. It's the winter for me has been long and very enjoyable. Good time to rest and recharge the batteries. But as always, a Formula One driver.
Him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Formula One driver wants to get back in.
Step forward a bit so our friends over here can see us.
Formula One driver wants to get back in the car and feel the speed again. So it's been an exciting few weeks. You know, seeing the car come together in terms of building the car and finally seeing it as one late last night.
Talking of good times, you did a great time in the marathon over the winter. What was that about? Sub 3 hours?
It was okay. Yeah.
I think that's worth a round of applause. Sub 3 hours? Fit.
Thank you.
And how about you? It's good seeing you in this kit, isn't it, ladies and gentlemen? How's it feel to be a McLaren driver?
Amazing. It's been very busy couple of months since my last race. It's been incredible. It's hard to believe that I'm part of this great family, great history, but very motivated and looking forward to big targets that we'll have this year.
Talking of family, we can see Team Paris here, can't we?
Yeah.
But it's nice to have them here, isn't it?
Yeah, very nice, very nice. I think it's a very special moment for all of us because they have supported me a lot all through my career, and it's a great moment for all of us.
Oh, some big smiles there on the second row. And what about this man here? How's it been working with him so far?
Good, very good. He came late this year, so I've been already some months working.
Oh, you're the new kid at class, aren't you? Like, oh.
I'll be doing all the work.
Yeah.
No, it's been really good.
So, 50th anniversary, it's obviously a huge year. How does it feel to be part of that legacy?
Well, as you saw today, you know, this is some of the achievements of McLaren over the last 50 years. And it really is phenomenal. I think everyone that's been a part of it in terms of the drivers today really feels the history of this team and what it's achieved. This is only a small part of it as well. And that's really exciting, I think, for all of us, not just the drivers, but everyone involved in the factory that's building our racing cars and helping us, hopefully, to some great achievements this year.
Yeah, more achievements to come. I think we've kept everyone waiting long enough. So if I can ask you, gentlemen, to step into position. Do you remember where you're supposed to be?
I think I hope so.
Yeah. OK, so we've kept you on the edge of your seats for the last 15 minutes. It's time to take the wraps off. Gentlemen, if you'll please do the honours. Ladies and gentlemen, the Vodafone McLaren Mercedes MP4-28. Photo opportunity. So when everyone's got their pictures, get the boys to come back to the front of the car. So for you, is it still exciting to see a new car for the first time? If I can get you guys to stand here.
I'm not that old. Yes.
You are compared to him. Come on, it's all relative.
It is all relative. But no, of course, it's always exciting, especially when you think you have a good possibility to fight for world championships. So yes, it's exciting, and it's exactly the same colour scheme. So some of you might look at this and go, "Oh, it looks kind of similar to last year." But I tell you, this is completely different to last year.
Really?
Under the skin, it is so different, and I think that's why it's such an exciting season. I think for us.
And for you, your first McLaren, how does that feel?
It's amazing to see it, to see my name on it. It's really special. It's hard to believe, as I say, and I think, as Jensen said, the car might look similar with the colors, but it's a big project that the people here has worked day and night for it, and I think we got a very strong car.
I mean, it's different, but does it feel like a natural evolution from last year?
Yes, yeah, of course. I think we all know that the regulations haven't changed much since 2012, but they've changed enough to make a difference. And we have taken a good approach, I think, to this season. Obviously, the future it's very different Formula One in terms of 2014 and the regulations, but you go into the season aiming to win the World Championship, and that's exactly what we are doing in 2013. And yeah, we don't hope, because we know how much hard work has gone into this, that we're going to be fighting for that.
So it's more expectation rather than hope?
Yeah, I think we're just really excited, a lot of hard work from the guys over the winter. And me, of course, but in different ways.
Not according to Checo.
But, I think Tuesday's a big day for us. When I first get to drive the car and run through all the system checks and do reliability work. And it's always exciting for a driver. Whether it tells you if the car is good enough to fight for wins or not, we have to wait and see. But it's a day that I'm very much looking forward to.
Now, Checo, I've got a question here from a Vodafone staff member. What do you want to achieve this year in order to personally consider it a success?
Well, definitely. I want to win the championship. Everybody wants to win.
Might step back a bit.
For sure. That's my target. Once you come to the best team, then it has to be your target. And it's a very big target to do. I want to work together with Jenson, with the team.
So you can't do both? You can't work together with him and be his pal and win the World Championship? Just a thought.
Why not? We can work together.
You love mixing it up, don't you? I like that. Yeah.
Keep smiling. If in doubt, smile. He's got the smile to see him through. Okay, now Steve's just over there. So if you guys would like to follow Steve, because you'll be taken through your broadcast media interviews. Cool. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Sergio Perez and Jenson Button. And that concludes the official launch of the Vodafone McLaren Mercedes MP4-28.
There are lots of things that give me confidence. I think continuity is a big part of it. I feel that in terms of performance through the 2012 season, we were very good. There were few issues with reliability that set us back quite a bit through the season. But I really feel that we've improved in those areas, and we know the issues that we had, and hopefully they won't happen again. But everyone's been working really hard. Obviously, things have changed here in the team. I have a new teammate for 2013, who is Sergio Perez, which is also exciting because it adds something to the team. I think someone that's young and excited about the new challenge of racing for Vodafone McLaren Mercedes, I think it does bring something. So I think we have a good partnership, and we're ready after seeing the car today. I think we're all ready to start testing, and an important few weeks before the first race. Experience over the last 3 years of working with the team, working with my engineers. You do need a really good bond with your engineers. A really good understanding. But also working with the aerodynamicists, working with the engineers on the mechanical side of the car, and developing it over the last 3 years. It does take time when you're with a new team to really gel and to find a car that really suits your style. And I feel that we've been stepping in the right direction for a long time now. My toy, my baby, call it many different things. The MP4-28. It's so nice when you come back after the winter break. You come back, you're excited, you're fit, you're healthy, ready for action. Spend quite a lot of time at the factory. You see the car coming together. And you do your seat fit, you see a new part arrive that they stick on the car, front suspension, front wishbones. Then the engine comes, you might be there for the startup, and then you finally see it as one with everyone else, because that is when the car is ready to be shown to the world. It's not been ready for a week, it's ready at the launch. So when you see it, it's the same time as everyone else. So it's a very special feeling for a driver. It's his machine, it's part of him for that season, and you have crossed fingers. You know that the people here have done a great job. They're working hard, but you still don't know how good that car is going to be. So it's a pretty tense moment, but a very exciting moment to be acquainted with your new motor. And the regulations haven't really changed since 2012, so you would think that the cars would be quite similar, but we've changed a lot on our car, and I think that's a good thing. I think that the 2012 car, the 27, was a good car, but I think we were getting close to the end of the development curve with it. Whereas with this car, there are a lot of changes. We start, obviously, the start of the winter was quite tricky because we had taken a step back in performance and we've had to work our way up. But I think for the long run, over a whole season, this is the right move. You will see a lot of differences with this car. From a distance, maybe not, but it is very different under the skin, and that's what makes, I think, the 28 a very exciting car. Yeah, things have changed in terms of my teammate, and Checo is on board, and I think for him it's a very exciting opportunity. I remember walking in the doors of McLaren back in 2010, and to be part of this team that has so much history and pretty much delivers every year in Formula One victories. We were always fighting for the World Championship, but every year I've been here, I've won 2 or 3 Grand Prix. So that is a very special feeling when you walk through the front door. You know that is going to be the case. Yeah, it's good for him and for me. It's always nice having a new teammate. It's fun, and you still learn off of each other. He's still very young in the sport. It's his 3rd year, but you know, I'll still learn from him, and I'm sure he'll learn a lot from me in terms of understanding the way that we work here at McLaren. And I can't see why we wouldn't have a good working relationship. You know, he seems like he's willing to learn, and he's quick. So yeah, I look forward to working with him in 2013. Yeah, as you saw, you know, at the launch, there is so much history in this team from the Can-Am days, you know, through the World Championship winning cars with the MP4-28, the 23, and also, you know, the future of the car manufacturing business in terms of the P1 that I drove around the lake. So it's really special to be a part of that, and hopefully with all the experience this team has of racing, and my experience with the team over the last 3 years will really help us in this season develop this car and have a great season. There are 2 less days than last year in testing. We only have 6 days now per driver in the new car, so it's not a lot. We obviously do a lot of simulator work, which is useful, but in terms of reliability work and proper setup work, reality is the best way. So those days in the car are so important to us. You know, I'm driving the car for the first time on the 5th of February. And even that day, you know, we are aiming to do a lot of mileage, you know, put a lot of mileage on the parts, hopefully life a lot of the parts, and then move on to proper testing the second day in the car. But as you say, it's so limited. It's tough, but, you know, with a team like this, with the reliability that we will hopefully have, we'll get a lot done over those 6 days of testing.
Well, it has been incredible this couple of months together with my new family. I think everybody at Vodafone McLaren Mercedes is so united, so much together. Everybody has the same target in mind. So it has been very special, very emotional for me. It's a dream come true to become a driver of McLaren, and I'm really happy for it. I'm very motivated and looking forward to have a very strong season. My MP4-28 is my first McLaren. Yeah, the car really makes me feel very, very proud, first of all, to know that it's the 50th anniversary of the team, and I'm here in the 50th year of this great family. It makes me feel very special. Even the launch was so emotional, was so special for me, that I'm really looking forward, and I'm sure we will have a strong car, and we will be fighting for the championship, which is the target here, and to win it is the target. So I'm very motivated and very much looking forward. Looking at the boulevard when I arrived, it was amazing. It was amazing the first time I arrived into the company to see so much history straight away, so many legends that has been part of this team during the 50 years. So it makes me feel very proud, very honored to be here, to be part of the family, and I'm just very happy, very motivated to become a Vodafone McLaren Mercedes driver. So I'm very happy, very emotional, and so much motivated that I will really give my 100% every time I come here. With Jenson, is very good guy, very mature, very intelligent, and he brings a lot to the team. So definitely I got a lot to learn from him. I think he's a fantastic driver. He's a world champion, a proven driver, and I think I will be working very well together. The whole team is very united. We all have the same targets, of course. I want to beat him, he wants to beat me, but we are working very well together, and we want to bring the team up and win both championships. The rules, they don't change much for this year, so we're definitely going to have a very strong field, very much together, with not much difference, unless we have a big surprise, which no one is expecting. I'm sure the competition will be very extreme, more than in the past, because of the rules, they're not changing much. So it will be a very interesting year. I think it will depend everything on the consistency we can have, and obviously the speed will be also important. I think the main competitors is very difficult to know right now which ones are going to be, but for sure we can expect to fight the top teams such as Red Bull, Ferrari, Mercedes, Lotus. I think it's going to be a close battle between us. Yes, I only have six testing days, which obviously makes it difficult. No, we have so many things to go through, so many setup differences that we would like to test, that we know in the end we won't be able to complete our checklist. So it will be very important to try to maximize every day. We know we're going to have some days with mechanical issues, with problems that we cannot run, we cannot complete our programs. But in the end, the most important is to keep working as hard as possible. I think so far, when we get to the first test, we haven't done anything that we could have done to get more prepared. So far, I'm very happy with our preparation we have done in every single aspect, such as physical or technical reviews. I think we have done a very good step in that direction. And now with the testing, I think if we keep doing the same as we have done in the last couple of months with the preparation, we will arrive in Melbourne with a very good chances.
Every year at this time, we see a new car, and it's an exciting moment for every one of us in the team. A lot of people have been working, building up during the course of last year. Through the winter, immense effort from everyone, and then you launch a car. It's a really exciting moment. You become very proud of what's been done, become very excited about what's ahead of us, and you realise how you've improved last year's car. So naturally, you're optimistic. We don't know what anyone else is doing at the moment, so who knows, but I think we're confident that we've made a step forward. I think the car looks really great, and I think the whole team's really excited to getting through 3 tests, but really actually excited about going to Australia. We're in a period of stable regulations, so inevitably from one year to another the cars are broadly the same. I think we had what was acknowledged as the best looking car last year. It was also the car that we were quickest at the beginning of the year, we were quickest at the end, and a few times in between as well. So it was a season that perhaps we didn't realise everything we should have done. But when looking at this year's car, it's very tempting, given that you finish a season with the quickest car, to not change anything. It's very tempting to then just develop that. I think we've taken the right balance of trying to keep some of the good features, but actually make quite a lot of changes. So both the front and rear suspension systems are very different, and nose height's very different. The side pod treatment's quite different. So to us and the engineers, it looks like a very different car. We're very fortunate to have a carryover of substantially all the same partners at Vodafone McLaren Mercedes. So, you know, superficially and from a coloration point of view, the car looks the same, but it is quite a lot different. It's been quite an interesting challenge to make sure that you change the car that much and then make progress to ensure that the car is actually quicker than the one you're replacing. McLaren goes into every year, we're looking to win races and to win championships, and we've won more Grand Prix than any other team. We've won more than 25% of every Grand Prix. So the standard is high, the expectation is phenomenal, and we expect to win. To come out of last year having fallen away, having had a car that was quickest on many occasions, but not really to have maximised the points, not to have achieved what we should have done, was quite frustrating for us. That increases our motivation. We go into this year, we know nowadays it's going to be very close, it's very tight, there's some good, well-funded teams there. The regulations are relatively stable. I'd suspect that no one's going to run away with this. It's going to be a championship where you've got to continue to develop, you've got to start strong, you've got to be consistent, you've got to avoid mistakes, you've got to maximise the points that you can get. And if you can do all of those things, then there's no reason why we can't win both World Championships in 2013. Today we've seen the launch car, which is, we think, quite exciting. That will go and have some aerodynamic testing in the next few days. We then go to Jerez next week for the first test. We have 2 further tests, both in Barcelona, week 8, week 9. And during those tests, the cars will evolve. So indeed, even by the time we get to Barcelona, the car will look different from the car that we've seen today. That's the nature of Formula One. That's the speed with which we develop the car. And then even from that last test, I would expect us to continue to develop the car such that the car we have in Australia is different and improved yet again. And that will continue through the whole of the season. And that's tremendously exciting part of the sport for all of us that work in it, seeing how much we can improve the car through those initial tests to the first race, and then every subsequent race we expect to improve the car. So there's a race between the races for everyone here working hard in the McLaren Technology Centre. We're celebrating this year McLaren's 50th anniversary. I think that will surprise a lot of people, that the company has been around as long as it has been. And the parade of cars that we saw at the beginning of today's launch was really some absolutely stunning cars, from the Can-Am car that led its way through to Emerson Fittipaldi's Formula One car, and then through to cars driven by Lewis Hamilton and Mika Häkkinen to win World Championships, a Le Mans winning car in the middle of that as well. So the variety of this team, the depth, will surprise, I think, a lot of people. But as I think I said earlier, we have, since we went into Formula One racing, we've won more races, more than any other team. That's a win rate of more than 25% of all of the races since we started in Formula One. That develops a certain amount of expectation, a certain amount of pressure, and that's something that we're proud of, and we've got to make sure we have a even higher hit rate this year and make sure we win plenty of races and World Championships.